Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream. Do 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 shaboom.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group will present material about naming tradition. Before that, let's introduce our member consisting of Ridho Al Fadly, Rizkyta Fitriani, and I, Sabila Khoerun Nisa. Okay, the first material will be explained by Ridho.
Okay, thank you, Sabila. For now, I will explain about what is naming tradition. When a child is born, they receive two surnames. The first surname from the father, and the second from the first surname or of the mother. This naming tradition make it possible for the mother to never lose her maiden surname, and therefore her name is carried on to the next generation. uh, Various naming tradition in each country. Number one is Italian. From innkeepers to investors, everyone has a point saint. Italian village adopted them too, and the local traditionally celebrate their saint with an annual feast day. In America, Italian immigration continued to observe their patrons decide designed day. Neapolitans honor Saint Gennaro, Sicilian Sicilian from Palermo allowed Saint Rosilia, and in Torino, John the Baptist in the Baptist roles. If you don't know where in Italy your ancestors originate, not saints or feast day that pop up in your research. If you find a promising mention in if you find a promising mention, search for the saint name here. Both are compilation of patron saints listed alphabetically by the group that adopt them. This may lead you to your ancestral village. Then look for genealogical evidence to back up your detective work. If you know your Italian ancestors' traditional naming patterns, you can use the names of bambini to guess the parents' and grandparents' identities. For number one, the first son was named after the father's father. Two, the second son after the mother's fathers. Number three, the third son after the father's. Number four, the first daughter after the father's mother. Number five, the second daughter after the mother's mother. Number six, the third daughter after the mother. Italians also use necrom, nec, necronymics, naming a baby after deceased siblings. So if you see two or more Anna Francescas in one family, don't assume it's a mistake, because parents choose name to honor older generation. They pass moniker onto their next born if the first child given the name died. Number two, British East. Because British colonies made up so much of early America, their first name tradition often continued in the colonies. This scheme was common in England, especially in the 18th and 19th centuries. Number one, the first son was named after the father's father. Number two, the second son after the mother's father. Number three, the third son after the father's. Number four, the fourth son after the father's eldest brother. Number five, the first daughter after the mother's mother. Number six, the second daughter after the father's mother. Number seven, the third daughter after the mother's. Number eight, the fourth daughter after the mother's eldest sisters. In families where this pattern would lead to duplicate names, both grandparents were named Robert. For example, the parents might skip to the next in line. In this case, the second son would be named after the fathers. Number 3, Spanish and Mexican. In Hispanic families, many of these naming traditions combine, adding to pillar of given name at baptism. A child might be given 1 or 2 extra names, including the name of the saint associated with the baptismal day. But the child might never be called by the first baptismal name, Nombre de Pila. In church record, the parish priest often added to the child's name superfluous Jose or Maria that you'll have to learn or ignore. Number 4, Russian and Ukrainian. Similarly, children born in Ukraine and Russia were named for saints on the Byzantine calendar, which differ from Roman Catholic feast day. If a girl's baptismal day fell close to a male saint's day, she might still be given that name, feminized by adding an A to the end. A list of common Ukrainian first name and their associated saints' day can be found here. See common Russian name day here.
Okay, next, number 5 is India. Horoscopes play an important role in Indian culture when it comes to one that is reflective of the nakshatra or the position of the star constellation, as well as the grade of the position of the planets at the time of birth. For the most part, while parents may have a few options, like for a baby, they wait until after baby is born to decide on a final name. The name is usually based on letters and phonetic sounds considered to be auspicious based on baby's nakshatras and the planet positioning when baby was born. Traditionally, Indian parents have also given their children 2 names: their legal name, which is the name written on their birth certificate and legal form, as well as a nickname, which is the name they often become known as for close family members and friends. Next. Six, German and Dutch. Families in the Netherlands might follow this pattern. Number 1, the first son was named after the paternal grandfather. 2, the second son after the maternal grandfather. 3, the first daughter after the maternal grandmother. 4, the second daughter after the paternal grandmother. Given the prevalence of infant mortality, these 4 names recycled as necessary were often enough. In a family with all daughters, a third child might receive a feminized version of a grandfather's name, such as Wilhelmina or Henrika. Parents in northwestern Germany, including East Friesland and adjacent areas, often this Dutch system too. So did the Palatines who migrated to New York State in the early 1700 because they migrated with early Dutch settlers. Next. Number 7, China. Traditionally, many babies in China have a name that is 3 characters and syllables long. As the Chinese alphabet consists of thousands of characters, it's rare to find two people with the same name. The given name may be reflective of the natural world or baby's personality and gender, or it may be personal to baby parents. It's also important to note that surname come before given names and people are usually referred to as their full name as a sign of respect. Nicknames are often only used by close family and friends, while this has been the tradition in China later on in life, such as during travels or for foreign studies. Many Chinese people adopt a Western-sounding name, keeping their given name as a middle name. Next. Ireland. Many babies in Ireland are named after paternal and maternal relatives, including grandparents, aunts, uncles, and this may also extend to baby's middle name. Plus, while this tradition isn't as common as it once was, babies born or a saint day might be given that name. For example, a baby born on Patrick's Day might be named Patrick. Next, Bali, Indonesia. Many babies in Bali are named for the order of their birth. The most common names for firstborn children are Wayan, Putu, Gede, or Nengah, or for girls, Ni Lu. Babies born second are often named Made, Made, Nengah, Ngurah, or Kadek. Third children as usually called Nyoman or Komang. Babies born fourth can be named Ketut, and 5 children are often named Wayan Balik. Due to the order, names given to babies born later are often rarer. Next. In Spanish cultures, people can often have 1 or 2 given names. Traditionally, these have had origin in the Bible, like many other Christian countries, and parents might opt to name baby after a saint or martyr. Babies with the name of saint may celebrate a name day, like a birthday, on that saint's day in recent years. However, more parents are choosing more modern and international names inspired by athletes and celebrities. When it comes to surname, Spanish culture use both paternal and maternal surname, as women usually don't change their name after marriage, meaning baby will likely have 2 last names and they'll be different from their parents. The first would be the paternal surname, father's first surname, and the second would be the maternal surname, mother's first surname. Next, thank you.
The ban on naming tradition in every country. 1. France. In France, the name Nutella is preferred if a child is named Nutella by their parents. If they name their child will be ridiculed by his friend. Is quite a strange role. 2. Japan. In Japan, the name Akuma is banned by the government there because the meaning of Akuma according to Japanese itself means devil. This negative name is allegedly able to cause negative energy to the child later. Therefore, the name Akuma is banned in Japan. 3. Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, the government forbids parents to name their child Linda. Why? Because according to the government, the name Linda is considered too Western, and there are many other names that are better and can be given to their daughters. Next. Four. German. In German, the government forbids parents from giving the name Alex because this name is neutral. The meaning of neutral is that it can be used by girl or boy. The German government recommends giving children names that are clear and accordance with their gender. 5. Malaysia. In Malaysia, the government forbids parents from naming their children birth. The Malaysian government forbids parents from naming their children with names related to animals such as the name bird. Next, naming ceremony. 1. Christianity. Naming a child is usually through the baptism ceremony in Christianity, especially Catholic culture, and to a lesser degree among those Protestants who practice infant baptism. In Eastern Orthodox, infants are traditionally named on the 8th day of Lent in a special service conducted either in the home or in church. Often, Christians will adhere to local tradition of the land in which they were born. For example, in Kerala, in the traditional Hindu custom of tying an arrangement is followed even in Christian families. In the court of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, events are traditionally given a name and a blessing on the first Sunday of the month after they are by the child father if he holds praise authority to do so. If the ordinance has been authorized by his local ecclesiastical leader, the timing may be adjusted according to family circumstances. Next. 2. Hinduism. In Hinduism, the ceremony is traditionally known as Namkaran or Namkarana Sanskar. The ceremony is conducted in an elaborate form on the 12th day after birth. In Kerala, this is conducted on 8th day and called as Nolokatu. In Kerala, a black thread and gold chain kalanjanan are tied around the baby waist on the 8th day. In certain parts of the state, it is performed on the 27th if it's a baby boy. The child eyes are lined with May or Kanmamsi. A black spot is placed one cheek or asymmetrically on the forehead toward of the evil eyes. The grandfather whispered the cousin Hindu name in the child 3 times while the left ear is covered with a betel leaf. This is then refilled with the left ear. A mixture of ghee, melted and clarified butter, or honey is given to the infant as a base for its parents put in the future. At some place, an arati is performed for 7 times with a lamb thread and a leaf. Next. 3. Islam. In Islam, the baby is named on the 7th day by the mother and father, who make a decision together on what the child should be called. They choose an appropriate name, usually Islamic and with a positive meaning. Akikah takes place on the 7th day also. This is a celebration which involves the slaughter of sheep. Sheep are scavenged and the meat is distributed to relatives and neighbors and given to the poor. If the father does not have enough funds, he may do it anytime in the future as long as it is done in general. In Turkish tradition, the paternal grandfather whispers Adhan, call to prayer, into the right ear of the baby and afterward repeats or tell the cousin name of the newborn by 3 times. For Judaism, in the Jewish tradition, baby boys are named at a Brit Milah on the 8th day after their birth. Girls are named within the first 2 weeks. Common Ashkenazi custom maintains that girl shall be named when the father is told of the Torah on a Torah reading day closed or closed when the girl is born. Although fetish often has baby girls named at the Torah reading on the first Sabbath following birth, a resurgence in recent generation of the less popular birth ceremony for naming baby girl has recently taken hold in my modern Orthodox Ashkenazi communities. Thank you. That's all from our group. More or less, please forget. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.